What's going on, everybody? Welcome into episode 43 to the show we go. We got Chris Henrique and myself, Andrew Parker, today. We've had a couple episodes the past few days. We had the newest Red Sox signee, Jamie Westbrook, who has an NRI to spring training. He was our last episode, so go check that one out. We also had Woo Sox manager Chad Tracy, the episode before, so check that one out as well. Today, we are going back to the draft class of 2023 for the Red Sox. We have had 4 other members so far, with Justin Reamer being our last. We're going back to the pitching side of things. We've had a few pitchers early on, but we have Blake Wehunt. Now, Blake, before we kind of dive into some baseball stuff and everything, wanted to see how the offseason was treating you.
So far, so good. It's a lot of downtime that I'm not used to, so I'm able to hunt a lot and do some things around the house, so it's been good.
And you were telling us a little off air. It's a little cold down there right now, so I think it's prepping you for once you head up this way, and once you get, I guess, not high A and everything, because that's in Greenville, but once you get up to Portland, you're going to be having this once you get there in April. So it's a good little prep for you.
Oh, yeah, I could only imagine. 30 degrees is real cold here.
Can't relate, man. Can't relate. It's there was snow on the ground here in New Hampshire last week, so we're used to it. But all right, cool. So I want to dive in a little bit. You're brand new to the Red Sox organization. We saw you appeared in one game in the FCL, but before we get to you getting to the complex, I kind of want to go into a little bit with just getting drafted, and obviously you were a 9th round pick for the Red Sox. And can you just talk about, like, I guess, what your draft experience was like, and I guess just walk us through that, that day and how it went for you?
It was actually like not anything crazy. I had no expectations going into it because I was 22 years old. I had an average year, I knew I had the tools, but I just didn't think of it that way. So my dad was all pumped, whole family's pumped, but I had no expectations. And then finally, when it happened, my whole family's sitting around. I mean, it was awesome. I mean, it was everything I had hoped and more. And just, you can't recreate that feeling,
Yeah, and I guess so you came out of Kennesaw State, and
Correct.
I don't think Kennesaw State gets as much love as they probably should. Obviously, like down in the Atlanta area, you hear a lot of like Georgia Tech, and obviously UGA runs the state. I mean, that's very obvious, but
Right.
Kennesaw State, they're a sneaky good program. And I remember a few years back, Brandon Marsh committed to Kennesaw State, and that's a Buford guy. But what was it like, I guess, playing at Kennesaw? Like, what was the competition like? And I guess, what was that experience like for you, like playing baseball there?
So I transferred from Southern Miss. I went to Southern Miss for 3 years and then transferred to Kennesaw just this past year. But I loved it. Like, it's not like Atlanta like people think. Like, you hear Kennesaw, everyone jumps to conclusions and assumes traffic and rough areas, but Kennesaw is really just kind of its own area. So it's a little bit secluded from the Atlanta side of things. But the baseball there is just awesome. Like Coach Co, he just got the job, I think 2 years ago, and Coach Pass is the pitching coach. And they do a crazy good job of making sure guys know what their role is. They do a really good job of prepping for the professional lifestyle. They treat you like a pro instead of a student. It's like, come in, get your work. It's on you if you don't. And that just creates more of a challenge from teammate to teammate, because if this guy goes and gets his work and gets better, that's going to make you do it. And it's more of, teammates pushing teammates rather than coaches forcing guys to go to the field and get their work in.
So, other than just Kennesaw being closer to home for you than Southern Miss, was that one of the things that drew you there to transfer over there?
Oh, 100%. I was 8 hours away from home, and not having my parents come on the weekends kind of sucked. I saw them once a month. Like, my girlfriend back home, me and her have been together for 5 years, and I saw her once every 6 weeks. And so it just got to be to where I wasn't performing good on the field, and I was just like, man, like, this sucks, If I'm going to play, then I'd rather be closer to home just so everybody can come watch. I can see everybody, and I can actually enjoy the game of baseball rather than be miserable.
Yeah, I feel like that's really something that I even fans like don't really understand is just like, these guys, a lot of the guys, like once they got up to Worcester, it's like, we had a lot of Texas guys, we had some California guys, Georgia guys, and I remember some of the guys were just like, man, like my parents are coming like next month, like that's, I got that circled on the calendar. Like it's a big deal, man. It does a lot for your mental game, and I think fans don't really truly realize that sometimes, but that's awesome that you did get closer to home. We got you back. I probably getting a call or something, but we're good.
I got it all.
Yeah, it's all good, man. We keep it rolling over here. I do want to shoot towards the complex. So once you are drafted, you get down to the complex. We've talked to a few guys from the draft class. You guys were meeting each other for the first time in the hallways. And what was it? What was your experience like for you once you got to the complex and started intermingling with your draft class?
Oh, as soon as, we kind of got past the whole introducing our names and where we were from phase, it was just like college again. I mean, all the guys are super cool. And once we started hanging out a little bit outside of the complex, then it was all fun then, because then we'd go play golf. We'd go to Dave & Buster's. We would just always go eat dinner together. I mean, it was awesome. Like everybody, we got along really good, I would say.
Whose idea was it for Dave & Buster's?
Kyle Teal, 100%.
That's a new one. I don't think I've heard that one before. I don't hate it though. It's a good like
Dave
group bonding.
Fun.
Yeah. All right, Chris, you got one. I'm sorry, I'm hogging it.
No, you're good. I'm just thinking in my head, Kyle Teal's a big Dave & Buster's guy. Wasn't really what I was expecting to hear.
Wasn't on the bingo card for the interview here, but what was your reaction like seeing a guy that was as big and as tall as you once you got there?
Yeah, it was different. I did not expect that. He is actually, I would say he's bigger and taller than me.
Really?
Yeah, probably. I mean,
you let him know that?
Yeah, I know. I've never told him that.
Okay,
but
I wouldn't.
It's probably minuscule on the height. But no, he's a great dude, and he cuts up a lot. And it's not when you look at him, he looks pretty intimidating. He's got the full beard, you think of a scary guy, and then once you get to know him, he's just a great dude. He's just a big jokester, I would say.
Yeah, Trenner O'Donnell is that's who we're talking about. I wasn't sure, but Trenner is we had him on, I think probably early on this offseason, and he's incredible. He's very open. I mean, he's got the nickname Big Tex, so you're like, I don't know what to expect with this guy. He's like 6'7". His nickname's Big Tex, and you're right. He did have the big beard at the time. You're like, man, I don't know what I'm gonna get out of this guy.
You can't get a read off of him, and then when you start talking to him, it's like, oh, okay.
I don't know if you saw, but there was another trade that went down there was a trade with the Red Sox and Yankees, and that brought over 3 pitchers. And Nick Judas is one of the guys that came over. He is also 6'7" and like 250. So you're going to have 3 of you guys that are coming down there.
That's good. We like having the big guys around.
I was going to say, man, the Red Sox must be liking something. But your roommate, we've had Zach on earlier in the offseason. What was Zach like getting after we've gotten to know him? He's a good talker. He was definitely out of his shell very early on. So like, what was your experience like with Zach?
At first, I didn't really know because he come in the door and I had been there for about 4 hours where we were staying. So in my head, I'm like, God, do I not have a roommate? And it's about 8:00 and he finally walks in the door. And we just stare at each other for about 15 seconds. And he's like, oh, what's up, dude? And then we get to talking, and I had never met anyone from Rhode Island before. So I just had no expectations. But Zach's a great dude. We got along instantly. About 5 minutes after he got in there, we were cutting up.
You never met anybody from Rhode Island before?
Never in my life.
Okay. Wow. Did it exceed expectations?
I would say so. He put a high grade on the Rhode Island.
All right, so I'm going to read you the scouting report, and we can discuss some of the stuff that he mentioned. He wanted to first off say country boy.
Oh yeah.
Obviously, you're a hunting, fishing guy. Obviously, like that comes with the territory. I'm assuming.
Oh yeah.
Has like 1 million chickens on his farm. Can you talk about being a chicken farmer?
It's not 1 million. They always blow it out of proportion, but yeah, my dad is a big time chicken farmer, and that's what I've grown up doing. And so to me, it's like second nature, and it doesn't click that a lot of people haven't seen chickens before, let alone 30,000 at a time. And Zach just thought it was absolutely insane that my dad has 30,000 chickens, and he used that to just trash talk me the whole time we were down there.
I think it's think about it, like to wrap your head around 30,000 chickens.
Oh yeah, it's a lot. But
You do think about it though. Think how many people eat chicken, and I mean, it's a real thing, man.
and a lot of people have never like seen a live chicken. You know what I mean? Like in person.
Yeah.
So
I mean, think about it, Chris.
Farm.
So I ran over a chicken one time.
Oh man, come on.
Wow.
I did. I didn't mean to run over it.
Obviously on accident.
Yes, it was like 12
Okay.
15 at night. I was coming around the corner where I live. At the time where I lived, it's a town that there's portions of it that had farms, and the dude that lived near me had chickens, but not 30,000 of them, but had chickens. And I remember I heard a little bump, and I pulled back, and I accidentally ran over one of the chickens.
Oh man, I'm telling that to a chicken farmer, man.
That's the only thing I can bring to the table. I mean, I can't. I have no other chicken stories that I can bring. You know what I mean?
Fair enough.
Okay, I'll move on to the next point then in the scouting report, which we're going to need confirmation of this at some point. It says he can eat 36 donuts in an hour.
Oh,
I could. And
Hold on.
this discussion started with me and Cade Feeney, and we were on our way home from playing golf, and he was like, "How many hot donuts from Krispy Kreme do you think you could eat?" And I was like, "What's on the line?" He was like, $1,000 on the line. How much could you eat? I said, "I could eat 3 dozen hot donuts." And he thought I was just ridiculous for saying that. And I still stand by that I think I could eat 3 dozen hot donuts. But
It's
$1,000 on the line, I could do it.
How many have you done so far? Like what's the most amount you've eaten like to this day?
I've never sat down and tried to eat as many as I could.
Okay.
But like a Krispy Kreme donut, when it's hot, you can squish it together and make it pretty small. Call me crazy, but I'm pretty sure I've eaten probably 10 before, like real quick. But I've never sat down and actually said like, let me see how many I can eat. But I guarantee I could eat 3 dozen.
Okay. So you're gonna be like, it's like the Joey Chestnut, like when they have the hot dogs and they put them all in the water, they go down a little better. You're like, you need those blazing hot so you can kind of crumble them up and just keep going. Okay.
Exactly.
I don't hate it. I just don't see. I feel like once you get past like 15, you're like too sweet. It's like oof.
See, that would be the only issue would be the amount of sugar.
Yeah.
For $1,000, I could do it, and just to prove Feeney and Fogel wrong, I could do it.
Okay, fair. That's fair enough. Krispy Kreme. I grew up in the St. Louis area, and Krispy Kreme's definitely a big thing there. So I used to do some Krispy Kreme challenges back in the day. Way less than 36, but
there's like no Krispy Kremes around near me.
It's not a Boston thing.
It's not at all. Dunkin'.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it's just Dunkin', man. I think there's probably some law that Dunkin's like you can't put up a Krispy Kreme like anywhere around our area. So
the last time I had a Krispy Kreme donut was it's not even there anymore, but it was in Mohegan Sun. No, Foxwoods. I'm sorry.
Oh yeah,
and that's the only time.
I got my next topic on my scouting report of you. You love golf, so I think that probably. Most of the guys now are golfers. Did you pick it up after COVID or pre-COVID?
I picked it up after COVID.
Okay.
It was kind of like a boredom thing. There's nothing to do around here, especially when COVID shut everything down. So I bought a pair of golf clubs off Facebook Marketplace for like $100, and me and my buddies would just start playing. And then I ended up actually liking it, unlike I thought.
My man's a popular guy getting some calls over here, but
It's Krispy Kreme.
Chris, I think almost every single guy that we've talked to has been a golfer, and I feel like after kind of we'll let him do his thing. We'll have a brief pause here, but I feel like it's been a thing that most guys kind of like have picked up golf. You're good, Blake. We kept it rolling, man. Don't you worry.
Got another call. That's on me.
Just a popular guy, man. It's all good. We keep it going. I mean, it's okay.
But
so you picked it up post-COVID.
Yeah, I picked it up after like kind of during COVID, and me and my buddies just did it because it was a way to get outside, and it was kind of like, well, let's just go see how, what the hype is about. And then all of us ended up falling in love with it. And here I am now 3 years later, and I'm still very average to below average.
Okay, fair enough. I'm going to – what'd you say, Chris?
To join the club.
Yeah. I'm going to leave this last topic that he gave me on the scouting report to later because I kind of just been doing like one-offs. I haven't really been doing baseball related questions, I guess, but I'm going to do like some quick ones later, but I'm going to shoot back to the baseball side of things. You got to appear in a game in the FCL. Obviously there was probably a lot of, there was some of your draft class was, went up to Salem, a couple guys, obviously like Teal went up to Portland, but, it was one game, small sample size. I get it. You only had the one appearance, but what was the experience like for you, at least to get in there?
Oh, it was awesome. Like I was so glad that I was a part of the few that actually got to throw in a game, and I felt like I could have thrown in a game the whole time I was down there. But I know we had this whole preparation. But when I finally got to face a different hitter, it was awesome, and I actually pitched in 2 games. But it only shows one of them. I don't know why, but I had 2 innings, 2 different appearances. But I did pretty well. I mean, I just went out there and tried to do the same thing I did in college, and it worked. And it was like very long awaited, I felt like, because we were down there for a while before we got to get off the mound, and start throwing. And then I finally got to throw in the game, and it was everything I had imagined. It was hot. It was really hot. But other than that, it was good.
So what kind of things do they I guess like you said, like you kind of felt like you could, but there were some things that obviously the staff down in the complex were having you guys do. What was your day-to-day like, I guess, once you got to the complex up until you appeared in the game?
Well, in the beginning, we had to do a lot of meetings, and it was a lot of like, here's how we're going to do things down here. Here's what you're expected to do. Probably the first week and a half, we didn't do anything except for meetings. And then we started getting introduced to our lifts and our throwing program, and then we kind of had a couple weeks to do that on our own. And then by that time, the FCL season was almost over. So each guy filled out a questionnaire that said, how long will it take for you to get back ready to throw? And I think depending on what your answer was how long they built you up for. And then once you built up, you started throwing pins and getting ready to pitch. And then only a couple of us got to throw in games. And then the other guys just kept throwing like bullpens and stuff because they needed the longer build up. But it was boring at first, but then once we got into the swing of things and once we figured out, where we needed to be to do this, once we learned the complex a little bit, then it got to be good.
And so sorry, Chris, go ahead.
I was just going to say, because a lot of times, I don't think a lot of fans really quite understand when after you guys are drafted and you're kind of painting a good picture exactly what, you guys, going from being collegiate athletes, now you're professional athletes, don't really kind of get the full understanding of, hey, you're assigned to the FCL, but they don't really get that the part you just talked about, the meetings part of it, understanding you guys as players a little bit deeper than just, the scouting that they did and everything else. Has the Red Sox talked to you about, this like stuff for this off season that they want you to continue to work on that you guys were starting to in the FCL? Is there anything new that you might incorporate to what you currently offer as a pitcher?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, we all had meetings to kind of, I wouldn't say a plan necessarily, but like a goal of what they would like to see us come back doing, or physically like looking like, just stuff like that. So it's all thought out ahead of time, and at the end of the year they basically just tell us like not necessarily what they expect, but what they would like to see from us when we get back. And so it's just all based off of that. And they send us workouts through an app, everything, all the pitchings, all the throwings done through an app, all the conditioning, all the workouts, everything.
When you were also down there, when you were talking about when you got the chance to kind of throw, did you get a chance to throw to Kyle Teal? Did you get a chance to catch you?
So actually my first bullpen that I ever threw was to Kyle Teal. And it was so funny because him as a person, he cuts up a lot. And he's just like a big energy guy, And so I'm in the pen throwing. He's like, "Let's go," catching pitches. So it was awesome. He's a very, very unique person, I would say.
A lot of the guys that we've talked to have, just kind of talked about how quickly he was able to just get on the same page with that person, that pitcher.
Yeah.
Did you find the same exact thing where, it was almost like an instant click?
Absolutely. Like he knew ahead of time how every pitch I threw would move by just asking me. He's like, "What are you throwing here?" And I'd tell him. He'd be like, "All right, get it here. Like, focus on this." And it's like, man, like, this is awesome. Like, you could tell he knows a lot about the game of baseball.
Yeah, I feel like every single pitcher we've had on here that's thrown to him, even Hunter Dobbins that was up in Double-A, was like he caught a game before he even had a chance to catch a bullpen of mine, and we were already on the same page, and that's rare. That doesn't happen very often. So
yeah, he knows a lot about the game.
It's cool to hear, man. It's obviously he's worth the hype. Obviously made it up to Double-A, and he's going to be there soon up in Boston. So you're projected to start the year in Salem next year. What kind of things are you thinking will be challenges for you once you get to get your first real glimpse of affiliate ball?
I think just kind of dumbing it down a lot, because at the end of the day, it's just baseball. And I've been playing all my life, so there's no point for me to get all sped up and worried about it now, and cause myself to not perform good. So I think the best thing would just be for me to tell myself to relax. And, I've been doing this for a while. Just throw like I'm used to throwing and don't try and get out of myself.
And sticking on the topic of your draft class, one of your draft class mates got traded. And I feel like it's very early for a guy from the previous year to get traded. What did you think? Were you kind of shocked when you heard about that?
Oh, absolutely. Like, he texted in our little group chat and was like, "I just got traded." And I thought he was kidding, And then I found out he was serious, and I was like, wow, like, I didn't even know, like, they traded guys that early. But I guess they do.
Yeah, it was surprising whenever I saw the return. I'm like, wow, like that was literally their 10th round pick just this past year. He hasn't even thrown a pitch in the Red Sox system yet, and he's already being traded. So I texted Trinner about it as well. I'm like, were you kind of shocked about that? And he's like, oh yeah, like it seemed like it was definitely a big surprise, especially to you guys. I'm sure that you guys all just got close and already a guy's gone from the group. So
Yeah, I didn't even know that was like a thing. But I guess anytime you sign, you could be traded. So
yeah, no, it's I was shocked too. But then again, we just the Red Sox just got a guy from New York that was just drafted in the 23 draft as well. So I'm sure it's the same thing over there. So I have more one-offs, Chris. I'm just gonna go into it.
Yeah, let's go.
My first question here. I want to know what your initial reaction was to seeing Shohei Ohtani's deal.
Man, my initial reaction was like, that is insane. You know, that's I mean, unbelievable. That's an unbelievable amount of money. And then when you read the fine print of the deal, it's like the $2 million a year. And it kind of makes sense because they have all these big guys that they have to pay anyways. So I don't know. I couldn't even fathom signing for that amount of money. That would be, I mean, his kids won't have to work a day in their life.
No.
And that is just insane to think about.
Follow-up question to that. Did it kind of make, did you kind of like kick yourself a little bit? You're like, I should have been good at bat as well on top of pitching.
I mean, I want to say yes, but then again, facing 95 to me, that's not for me. Like,
yeah,
I could hit 85 in high school, sure, no problem. But once it gets up there to 95, 96, I don't see how guys do it.
Yeah,
I don't think I'd even be able to react quick enough. So
you're just like all of us. It's okay. So we understand. Any person, you're a popular guy today.
I don't know what's going on.
Any person that tells you that doesn't play base, like that's not actually on a professional team. I mean, there's a few exceptions, but anybody that tries to tell you they could step in the box and hit 95 plus is completely wrong. So
anybody that says that to me, I just feel like they've never actually been in the box versus any pitcher whatsoever.
Yep.
If you think you can hit 95, like I can assure you in my head, I don't think you've seen anything over 80.
I don't think I could even hit 85. If we're going to be completely honest with you, I don't think I could even come close to it. I mean, I might be able to get a little foul tip in there, maybe. I don't know. But
it's a lot harder than it looks.
Yeah, no, that's exactly why Shohei Ohtani is getting paid $700 million. So because he can do that, and he can also go out there and shove for 7 innings. So
yeah, props to him.
Yeah. Next one, 2-parter, and you're a golf guy. So my next question here is a 2-parter for you.
All right.
I need the worst part of your golf game.
Oh, probably off the tee box, to be honest.
Okay.
But to be fair, if I can hit a fairway, I'm usually playing pretty good that day.
Okay. Just like us. He's as long as you're not in the deep stuff, you're good. All right. So
exactly.
Okay. Second part to that, I'm gonna go back to my scouting report from our good friend Fogel. I guess so. You guys played a little bit of PGA.
Oh yeah.
So here's the quote that I received: "Sucks at PGA and can't hit a good shot when you chirp him." Do you have anything to respond to?
Oh my God. I would be playing PGA online against someone else, and he would just be sitting in the bed right directly behind me, just in my ear the whole time. I'd make a bad shot, and he'd be like, "Dude, you are terrible." And he knows that it's going to rile me up. So I'd turn around and say something and then make a bad shot again. And he would just intentionally throw stuff at me, doing everything to get me to make a bad shot. So the reason that I was terrible was because of him.
Okay, fair. That's fair enough. That's his scouting report that he gave me. So I figured you would defend the wall there, but it sounds like him. So I'll give that one. I'll be on your side for this one.
Oh yeah. I mean,
my next one is the most important question I'm going to ask you the entire show. You are guest number 43 on this show. There's a new guest every episode, so that's 43 different people so far. You are hungry, right? It's lunchtime. All right, so you're going to go get in your car and you're going to go get some fast food. There's every single option available for fast food, and you want fried chicken, like a fried chicken sandwich or fried chicken strips, anything. Where are you going?
Chick-fil-A.
You know,
I mean, every time.
Blake, man, I had high hopes for you. You're a Georgia guy. I thought for sure I was going to get the right answer on this.
What is the answer that is supposed to be the right answer?
Come on, man. You're a Georgia guy. It's Zaxby's.
Oh my God, I think Zaxby's is so overrated.
Oh,
Love
come
it.
on, man.
I'm a big Chick-fil-A guy.
I love this right now.
I expected better, man.
How can you not love Chick-fil-A? They
I
just
don't say I don't like it.
everything.
You have every option available. Like you have so there's a Chick-fil-A, a Cane's, a Zaxby's, like Popeyes, like even Bojangles. Throw that in there too. All of them are there, and you're choosing Chick-fil-A.
Yes, I mean 10 out of 10 times I'm choosing Chick-fil-A.
Okay, fair. I
I
don't
mean,
know.
but Cane's is a close second. I mean, I'm a big Cane's guy too, but Chick-fil-A, there's just something about it.
What's
Can I-
your go-to like Chick-fil-A? Like, what are you getting when you go there?
Spicy chicken sandwich.
Seems to be the consensus. I
Yeah,
think
it's
crazy was that in the grilled chicken nuggets to go with it.
Yeah, I like the grilled chicken nuggets too.
It was pretty good.
I just are you a Polynesian sauce guy or a Chick-fil-A sauce guy?
I switch it up. I probably get Polynesian more than I get Chick-fil-A.
Okay. I've heard that's been a common theme on the show, but man, I've asked this question to 43 guests. I've gotten 2, maybe 3 Zaxby's, maybe.
We got a McDonald's. We did get
I got a McDonald's.
McDonald's is crazy.
I got a McDonald's. The guy, he was a pitcher in the Orioles system. He said Donnie Steakhouse is where he's going. So,
That's crazy.
which I do love myself a McChicken. Don't get me wrong, that's an American staple. But it's if you have every option available and you're choosing to go get a McChicken over like Cane's or even Chick-fil-A, I'll give you that. It's a little crazy, but
I'm right there with you.
all right, Blake. I was expecting a little better out of you. Like you're a Georgia guy. I think the last Georgia guy we had was Josh Lester, and I think he said Zaxby. So I thought for sure we had it, but it's all right. You win some, you lose some.
life motto.
Yeah,
Sure.
life motto. Do you watch golf at all, or you just
I
do you just
watch
play it?
golf.
Okay.
I watch all kinds of golf.
Okay, so you're up to date. You probably have on Golf Channel every now and then. You're up to date.
Yeah.
Okay, then my next question. It's going to be sort of related to the Ohtani contract, but which contract surprised you the most? Shohei Ohtani or John Rahm?
Probably John Rahm, because I knew Shohei Ohtani was going to sign for just a record-breaking amount. But I really did not think John Rahm would go to Live. But, I mean, the way they're throwing money at people, it'd be hard not to. I mean, what he signed for, $300 million?
I think it was 400. I have no idea. I don't think that's ever going to be public, to be honest.
I mean, it was something egregious. But, like, to me, if I was a pro golfer, it would be very hard to stay with the PGA Tour.
I agree.
Yeah.
So that's the one that surprised me because I thought Rahm was one of those guys who would stand with the PGA over Live, but I mean, I guess every guy has his price.
It does, man. I mean, think about it. Like, I'm under the assumption too that it's like, I think Brooks Koepka said it best. He's like, are you gonna, if you're working your full-time job and another company gives you an offer to work less, make way more money, and have way more free time, like you're probably gonna choose the other job. Like, come on.
It's almost a no-brainer.
Yeah, especially for a guy like him that's not going to miss any majors because he just won the Masters, so he's in all the majors for the foreseeable future. So it's like it's not like he's going to fall out of the world world rankings and miss out on the Masters and stuff because he just won it. So he's in a good spot.
Exactly.
Okay, I asked Jamie Westbrook yesterday, the Red Sox newest signing, and he said it was he wasn't too surprised with Rahm just because he knew that those guys throw cash at everyone, and he said the same thing you did. Everybody's got their price, so he was more surprised with Ohtani. So, all right, Chris, I got some baseball ones to end it. So let's empty the bench here. What do you got for me?
What do you typically do? We're getting close to Christmas. What do you do for the holidays? Give a little glimpse of what the holidays are like for you and your family.
Oh, well, I'm a big-time hunter, and all my family is. So, I mean, every day, usually that it's cold, we'll go out and go hunting. And then here lately, I've been playing a lot of golf, kind of trying to get my dad into golf. And my brother's already real big into golf. So we play golf. We do a lot of, family stuff. We cook around the house and go hunting and just do small things like that. And right now, my dad is out of chickens, so he's got a lot of free time. So we do all kinds of stuff.
I love that, man. He's out of chicken right now, so he's got some time on his hands.
Right, he's got free time until January. So
okay, then the new batch comes in.
oh yeah,
I love that. I'm learning a lot about chicken farming. We need to have another discussion like at a different time. Be like, all right, let's talk about this. But
oh yeah,
all right, that's good. I think you're gonna enjoy Salem. By the way, we've heard that from a few guys that are kind of into the hunting fishing background, that Salem was more up their alley than some of the other spots. Obviously, like Portland, Maine's a whole different vibe than Salem, Virginia. So I think you're gonna enjoy Salem when you're there. I think it might remind you a little bit of home, so that could be a plus.
oh yeah.
All right. I got a couple more. You've given us a ton of time. Appreciate that. You've been a busy guy too, getting some calls, but I'll let you call those guys back. But you're brand new to the system, like we just talked about. You just got drafted this year. You appeared in 2 games. Only one of them was official, I guess. But so you got in. You're still very unfamiliar. I feel like a lot of Red Sox fans probably aren't too familiar with what kind of pitch you are and what you have. So I guess for any fans that aren't familiar with you, don't really know much about your pitching or anything like that, how would you describe yourself? What kind of pitcher are you?
I would say, I don't know, probably fastball dominant. I'm like a power pitcher guy. I always, what I've had success with in college was getting ahead with the fastball and then throwing the other stuff, which is kind of basic, I know, but that's just always what's got me success. I got a lot of ground balls in college. Wasn't a real heavy strikeout guy, but I was like 1.2 an inning. So it wasn't terrible, but mostly a ground out pitcher.
Okay. And I know at Kennesaw, you were just used as a starter last year, correct?
Yep.
And, do you think, in your honest opinion, I'm not saying this is how the Red Sox are going to do it or anything, but do you think your stuff works better out of the bullpen or as a starter?
I've had more success as a starter just because I feel like once I get in a groove and once I face, a lineup one time, I think my stuff's good enough to fool them again. And then as a reliever, I've had success as a reliever, but I've also had a lot of failure as a reliever because it's hard to come in a game, bases loaded situation and just shut them down. And everyone in the crowd, everyone in the dugout expects you to go out there bases loaded and get 2 strikeouts or a double play. And I think it's a lot tougher being a reliever in a short stint, but starting's not easy either. But you get what I'm saying. I think it's being able to come in and shut someone down instantly versus like a marathon versus a sprint is the way I think of it.
Yeah, and I think I think that was a great answer too, by the way, because me and Chris were around the team in Worcester this past year in AAA, and I think I joked with AJ Politi, who was the closer for a bit in Worcester, and it's like I kind of joked with him. I think one day I was like, I thought closers were supposed to be absolute crazy. You guys come in when the game's on the line, like you said, bases loaded. Sometimes it's every pitch has to be executed perfectly, and it's they're psychopaths is what they are.
Exactly.
Those guys are I mean in a good way, that guy's a psychopath, but I want him on the mound for my team, but I feel like it's a real thing though. So I kind of like that answer that you gave. So
absolutely, late relievers, they live for the pressure, and they usually, most of them are crazy, like you said. So I agree with that 100%.
Yeah, no, it's I feel like once you're around him for a bit and you kind of understand, be okay, that guy's got what it takes to be in the bottom of the 8th, bases are loaded, they're only up a run, and he's got to get 2 outs. It's that guy's a little crazy, and he's got this under control. So
absolutely,
I get what you're saying, man. It's being around those guys this year was a big eye opener. But Chris, emptying the bitch, you got anything?
Non-baseball, probably. Just I was gonna ask one last one. You were talking about, obviously golf, stuff like that. Anything else? Are you a video game person, or is there something TV show right now that you're big into? Just to kind of give people, look at who you are off the mound.
I play Call of Duty here and there. I'm all right. I wouldn't say I'm good. I wouldn't say I'm bad, but I've been watching a show recently called From,
Okay.
and it's an insane concept. It's about this family. They're driving through the middle of nowhere in the United States, and they come across this road that has a tree in the middle of the road that's blocking their path. And so they get in and turn around to go back to the highway, and they go through this little town, and they keep making circles, turn around, and they can't get out of this town. And like the show is just about how they're trying to get out of this town, and there's like other people that are stuck there. It's a pretty crazy concept,
Wow.
but it's good.
I just looked it up. It's on MGM Plus.
Yes, that's it.
I'm gonna bookmark it. So I don't do a lot of horror stuff. My sister and my mother are huge horror fans. I'm more like comedy and stuff like that. Did you get any sort of? Were you like psyched up about the new Grand Theft Auto trailer that came out? Is that something you ever played when you get into video games or anything like that?
Oh yeah, me and Trenner actually played a lot of Grand Theft Auto while we were down there. Believe it or not, it was so that's supposed to be like a crazy record-breaking game when it comes out. So I'll definitely play that just to see if it lives up to the hype, and everyone's waited 10 years to play it. So
It's forever. I mean, it seems like every time before we're going to record with Andrew, in the background, he hears some sort of police sirens or me shooting or something like that. Because I've been on a massive GTA just run as of late. I don't know why, but I've just been nonstop GTA.
oh, it's a blast, especially if you play online with some of your buddies.
I don't know if you saw, Chris, but it set the record for most YouTube views in a day. It broke like Mr. Beast's record for like that trailer that you talked about. Nuts.
Yeah, I would love if they do one or two more just to kind of give you some other glimpses to it. But there's a lot of little nuggets though within those trailers. There's just a lot of little subtleties that's in there, which makes you excited about what the game's gonna be like and how in depth. You waited this long for something like that. I'm looking forward to it.
Absolutely.
Well, Blake, you've given us a ton of your time. We appreciate it, and it was good getting to know another guy in the draft class, because I feel like it's for a lot of you guys we were just discussing. It's like you only got into a couple games, and it's like we don't really know much like about some of the guys. So we enjoyed it a lot, and thank you for hopping on.
Oh yeah, I really appreciate y'all.
Yeah, but Blake, thank you. We might be seeing you in spring training. So and I know there's a Zaxby's like right down the street from the complex. So if you see me with the bag of Zaxby's, just mind your business. So we're going. But thank you.
Oh yeah.